Evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to virtual tastings at Whitey's. Tonight, we are happy to have Manuola from Mano Negra Brewing on with us, and we are going to get with him in a second. But first, we have a couple of announcements. Tomorrow night, of course, we actually have a tasting tomorrow night with Medallia Light. And even more important is Wes Henderson from Angels Envy will be in store signing bottles of Angels Envy and um, chatting with people. So that starts at like 4. He's only there for an hour, so you got to get there early. From 4:30 to 5:30. The Medallia tasting is from like 4 to 7. So come on by, try some Medallia, which is excellent. I really like that beer. So you guys should drop in. And then on Friday night, we are with our friends from RAR. We're doing a food drive with RAR. So you can get up to 25% off a 6 pack of RAR beer. Bring in 5 non-perishable items. And we're doing that till the end of the month. So come on by. Tomorrow night we're tasting some. Friday night we're tasting some RAR stuff, and come on by, bring some stuff for the food bank, and get some nice discounts. That's 5 to 7 on Friday, but it's going all the way through Thanksgiving week to the 30th, and then on Saturday from 2 to 5, it's our annual cider festival. So we have 5 cideries: Austin, Chesapeake, which is Oliver, Capital Cider House, who make terrific ciders, down east from Boston, and our friends Hawknob from West Virginia are going to be there. And then for meads, we have Havoc from Vermont, and Charm City Meadery is going to be with us. So come talk to those guys, get some good ideas for beverages for Thanksgiving coming up. So that's on Saturday from 2 to 5. And then next week, I'm pretty excited about this. Next week on Tuesday night for Ladies' Night, um, we are featuring some of the folks that are on the this opportunity awaits pack with Duclaw. So next week is Hannah Ferguson from Dope will be with us. So you learn about all about her voyage in craft beer, how she made the best of her opportunities. So we're excited about that. And then actually, I lucked out here because the way they do these things, it's like baseball cards back in the day. You got to collect them all to get all the people. And then on December 7th, this is M. Sonder of Pints and Panels. She will be joining us for that. So that's at 8 o'clock. All the virtuals are starting at 8 o'clock because we're in the lushly appointed home studio. New lighting, new camera. Look at that. It's beautiful. I'm sure nobody really wants to see me any better than they can, but there you go. Now that's it. That's how it goes. So without further ado, we are going to bring Manu up. What's happening, my man? How are you?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good.
Everything's good in the hood, right? In the hood of Frederick. So tell us a little bit about the brewery and what's happening out there and your plans and just pretty much an overall. And then we'll talk a little bit about the beers. So, but I really want to know the backstory because I don't know that a lot of people. You're small. You're sort of in the learning stage. So I'm not. I want people to learn about your backstory and what's up with that.
So right now we're doing like a lot of experiments with beers.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm grabbing like maybe like most commercial style of beer, like regular IPAs and stuff like that. And we're trying to infuse those kind of beers with Caribbean flavors.
Okay.
So I have a recipe that is I think the most popular beer that I made so far, and it was an ale that we tweaked a couple of times to do a hibiscus ale, and
Okay.
it's a really refreshing beer for spring and summer. And I have a couple of New England IPAs and stuff like that I infuse with Caribbean flavor, like Caribbean fruit, like maybe pineapple, guava, mango, and stuff like that. I have a lineup of Berliner Weiss that I try to use pomegranate, key lime,
Oh,
uh,
nice.
maybe dark cherries. So stuff that we can find, like flavors that we love on the Caribbean, and I try to bring those kind of flavor here so people can try it on beers. So
Right,
that's gonna be like our goal. Like try to put a Caribbean flavors on beer.
right. Where are you from originally?
I'm from Puerto Rico.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
know Medallia. You actually.
Yes, I know Medalla.
Yeah,
I heard you talking about Medalla. Yeah.
that's a
Been
big that's
drinking.
a
I've been
big beer
drinking
in Puerto
Medalla
Rico.
since 18 years.
So how long have you been brewing?
I've been brewing for a while, maybe like 8, 9 years.
Okay,
Yeah,
mostly home brewing,
yeah, mostly home brewing.
and just like getting recipes in sort of in line and for the eventual opening of the brewery.
I mean, I have a couple of recipes that I'm not gonna touch anymore, so I'm not gonna tweak anymore because I know they're good. And
Right.
those beers are gonna be part of the first lineup when we open the brewery.
Well, I saw one of them. I guess it is a hibiscus beer that like is on the website, and I
Yeah,
forget the name of it. What's the
it's
name of that beer?
Amapola.
Okay, so that's probably going to be your flagship, I would guess.
Yes, that's gonna be one of the flag beers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have another one that is a Samoa Stout. I have a recipe for like a I call it a Christmas beer because I always brew that beer on winter.
Okay.
And in that beer, it's a Belgian saison, but I just try to grab all the flavors that no one wants on beer on Christmas, like maybe like dark chocolate, dark cherry. So I don't put any like cinnamon, mint, and all that stuff like people do on Christmas beer. So I try to grab like different kind of flavor and have
That
those
sounds
flavors on the beer.
delicious.
And the beer is really good too,
That's
and
how,
aged really good.
really? So it's a darker beer?
Yes, it's a dark beer. Yeah.
Like more of a stout or more of like a brown ale or an amber?
I mean, it's a Belgian beer, so
Okay. So
yeah,
it's
but
more like
it's
a
like
quad.
a
It's like in
dark
that.
Belgian beer. Yeah.
Okay. So it's more like a quad. So it's a little bit higher ABV.
No, it's not high on alcohol. Actually, it's like a last time that I did a beer. I mean, because I just try to age the beer like in different ways. Last
Right.
time was like 7.2 or something like that.
That's the perfect for me. That's the perfect ABV for a winter beer.
Yeah.
Right. Like I feel like if it's too high, what's the point? But like in that like 7 to 7.5 range is a really good range of of alcohol for particularly for a winter beer.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the high ABV beers.
Right.
Like I don't feel like I'm not enjoy a beer when I can feel like a lot of alcohol on it. So
Right.
I don't enjoy that kind of beer.
Yeah, I mean you want to be able to have I mean those are the kind of beers where you're hanging out like by a fire or by a fire pit or that kind of thing. Those are the best kind of beers for winter time, I feel like.
Yeah.
Just like that 7% or so beer. So one of my main questions is, and I'm happy you're on because I feel like Latin people are really loyal to brands, right? So, do you reach out a lot to the Latin community to try your beers, or how did you even come into it? Because most people think of like beers from the Caribbean as like whatever, like Medallia, lighter
Yeah.
beers, that kind of thing. How did you come into doing these kind of beers, more craft oriented beers?
I mean, since I was living in Puerto Rico, I have like a I feel attached to craft beers. I mean, honestly, the first craft beer that I drank in Puerto Rico, it was Samuel Adams, like Boston Lager.
Okay.
So
I mean,
I
that
start
makes
with that
sense.
because it's the only thing that they sell at that time in Puerto Rico. They didn't sell craft beer at that time, and they start bringing like different kind of beer, maybe like Oberon and Bells getting the island. We get like some dark, heavy beers like Golden Drag and stuff like
Right.
that. And I think with the Golden Drag is the first time that I says I'm not enjoying the high ABV beers.
Right.
I mean, it was a
Right.
good beer, but honestly, if it wasn't for the high alcohol, it was gonna be better. But they start bringing all those kind of beers, so we didn't have like the community of craft beer that we have like right now in Puerto Rico at that time. So right
Right.
now we have more craft beers, more craft breweries in Puerto Rico. But at that time we didn't have anything. And I met a friend that he had a blog in Puerto Rico that is called Craft Beer Generation.
Okay.
And I start writing reviews for him and in the page, and we started hanging out in different places and drinking beer. So at that moment I says maybe I can brew this in Puerto Rico and I don't have to wait until they bring the beer from US
Right.
because we didn't have it. And there was a growing at that point there was a growing community of homebrewers in Puerto Rico. Now they are pretty established and they make competition and all that stuff. But at that time it was like a growing community. And I start brewing beer. So and I start brewing beers with different flavors,
Right.
but it was flavors that we didn't have in Puerto Rico. And I try to use those flavors on the beer to see how it tastes. But
Right.
now that I live in here in Maryland, I says, well, maybe it's time to bring all those flavors from the Caribbean and put it on my beer so people can try it here. So that's basically what we're doing.
Yeah. That. I mean, that's super cool. I didn't. I've always sort of wondered what the craft beer scene is in in Puerto Rico. Oh, look at Steven Perez is watching. There he is. What's happening?
Steven,
I've always sort of wondered what the scene is down in in the Latin countries. You know what I mean? You see, like, I mean, beer is like the oldest beverage in the world, basically. So I've always been curious about what that scene is down there, and like you say, now more and more people are like getting into. There's more home brewing going on in Puerto Rico and places like that. So that's pretty. To me, that's interesting. Like, was it difficult to get? Well, when did you leave Puerto Rico?
I left on 2015.
All right. So it was already being well established at that point, right?
I mean,
The home brewing
the home
part of it.
brewing, yes. The brewery, no. Now
Okay.
we have more breweries. I bet I bet that we have more than 10 or 15 breweries in Puerto Rico. But at that moment, maybe I can say maybe like five or less than 10.
Right.
So now
So it's
now
a
we
pretty
have
tight. So
a
it's a
solid
tight knit
solid.
community. Do you still talk to people down there that you homebrewed with and bounce
Uh
ideas off of them?
yes, we have a web page and we have a I'm not a web page, a page on Facebook, and
Right.
we communicate with each other. Actually, there's a couple of guys that I still ask for counseling when I'm doing the beers.
Right. So when you moved, you came here in 2015 and you were a home brewer and you lived in Rockville for a while?
Yes, I stay. I mean, I moved from Puerto Rico to Maryland, and I my first apartment was in Shady Grove, so I didn't
Okay.
brew in the apartment because I don't want to do a mess in something that is not mine.
Right.
But I start brewing in 2017, 2000,
Okay.
beginning of 2018. Yeah, at that time I start brewing here in Maryland.
And so you would go to the like local homebrew shops too, and like bounce ideas off of them. I know like homebrew shops are a really good like sort of space for people just starting to like get ideas and different recipes to and things like that to to start out to try different beers.
I mean, when I start brewing, I think the home brewing process helped me a lot, like experimenting with some ingredients at first.
Right.
So my main goal, it was like knowing the ingredients first, like what these hops taste like, what these kind of grains do to the beer, what flavor can I get from this and from that. And the recipes that I have right now, most of the recipes are like I sit down with some friends and I start drinking beers, and I like this beer, and I just try to figure it out
Right.
what they
And try to
use on the
assimilate
beer
it.
and stuff like that. So, and I just try to make my own version of what I think they use on the beers. So that's mostly what I do.
And
And I think here in Maryland, the Maryland Homebrew Shop in Columbia,
right.
I think that helped me a lot. Like putting recipes together and stuff like that. Sometimes they don't have a hops that I'm asking or a grain that I'm asking for, and they told me, oh, I have this one that could do the same job that the one that you're looking for, and it's great because I tweak the recipe, and sometimes it tastes better than what I was expecting. Sometimes I says, no, I'm gonna go with the original one. So
Right.
it's really good.
So what? So now you're out in Frederick. How big are you? What's your how big is your system that you're brewing
I
on now?
still have the 5 gallon system because, like I told you, I'm experimenting with a lot of beers,
Right.
and some beers, to be honest, I just put it down the drain because it tastes bad. But
Right.
some beers taste good, and I don't want to waste too much money like doing 20 gallons or 1 barrel or something like that, and the beer tastes bad, and I have to dump everything and buy everything again. So I'm stuck with the 5 gallon setup, and I think I'm gonna be stuck with the 5 gallon setup until I open the brewery.
Right. How often do you brew?
Uh, I can tell you that when I moved here, the first time that I started brewing here in Frederick, I brew like one weekend next to another one, like 3 weekends in a row. And then I stopped for 2 weekends, and now I made another beer. But the other beer that I made is the Christmas beer, so it's not going to be ready maybe until January because I'm
Okay.
late on the process. So that is the Belgian that I told you, and I really like to let that beer sit on the. Let's call it lagering. It's not a lagering process, but it's the same thing. I just let it there for maybe 2 months, 3 months, and the flavor change like a lot on the beer.
Brendan wants we were getting ready to actually talk about this because we talked about it off camera before. So you live in Frederick now, and you're looking for a space in Frederick. Now, and you're hoping to find someplace on the creek, so you're within that sort of where everybody else is in
Yeah.
Frederick, like Attaboy and McClintock, and but I mean that the rent there might be a little high. So you're just basically looking at Frederick, right? You
Yes.
don't really have any place specifically in mind yet.
I mean, I don't have a place specifically in mind yet because the goal was going to be opening the brewery at the beginning of 2022,
Right.
but COVID
COVID.
COVID changed everything. Like we were stuck. I mean, we sold the house to move to Frederick. We were living in Baltimore for maybe 8 months until they finish our house. Now
Right.
we're back on Frederick, so now we can continue with the process. So as soon as COVID started, we hold everything, because it was something that I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know what stuff and what how the beer scene is going to change after this. So
Right.
now that we know what happened in the whole process, now we can look like, okay, we're going to need this, we're going to need that, this we're not going to need it anymore, so we can change everything on the that we have on the process. So I think that everything was pushed maybe a year. So
So now you're thinking probably 2023 ish.
yes, because if we were thinking like beginning of 2022, I think the correct stuff, the correct way to do it, it's gonna be like push it a year just to be safe on the process and make sure that we're doing everything that the right way.
Right. I'm sure, well, because Steven's been watching a little bit and Brendan, the local community has been a big help to you, right?
Yes, a lot of help. Like Brandon is helped me a lot when I was living in Rockville. Now that I moved here to Frederick and been visiting Steven on Hagerstown in Homemade. So I mean, I think the community, that's the great part of the craft beer community. Like everyone help each other.
Right.
Like we don't see the competition with each other. So that's the thing that I love most of this community. Like everything is helping. So I love it, man.
Have you talked about doing like early, like a lot of places that start out like do collabs to get their names out? Have you talked to some of these people about doing, like the guys at Firm did a lot of collabs early to get their names out before they actually opened the brewery? Have you talked at all to
I mean,
people about doing stuff like that?
I'm glad that Brandon had me on the tropical stout that he made.
Right.
So that was great, and I went to Respite and I helped on the process of it of the beer. I don't want to throw anyone on the, under the train, but uh, we have some stuff planned. We have some stuff planned, and I hope that I can collaborate on those stuff soon.
That's exciting. That's
Yeah,
really exciting. Congratulations.
yeah.
I'm
Thank you.
excited to see you guys out in market.
I mean,
I mean, I know you're a
I'm
little bit away,
excited.
but
I'm excited to do the collaboration because I know that it's gonna be great beers. It's gonna
right.
we're gonna do great beers.
That's pretty cool. I'm excited for you. Congratulations on that. We'll be
Thank you.
we'll definitely be looking forward to it. So you have those beers. Your very first beer, like, is your wife into beer?
My wife,
Not so much. Your wife, does
I
she
mean,
drink beer?
yeah, she is into beer. I mean, she like more wines than beer,
Right.
but she's into beers.
That's cool. That's super cool.
Yeah,
All right, so you guys will be looking at 2023, and you probably have some collaborations coming out, which I'm excited to hear. Um, yeah, this is great. I've seen you guys, and I follow you. People can follow you guys on Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff to see the progress of what's happening. Um, so it's been great talking to you. I really I'm excited for you.
man. Thank you. I'm excited about everything, and I hope that we can continue moving forward with this, and we don't have any bumps on the road. So
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I think this winter's a big test, but um, I think if we get through this winter pretty well, I feel like you'll be good to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like this winter will be a big test with how things work out, but we'll see.
I mean,
You
but
know?
it was helpful. It was helpful in a way that I started like some chemistry classes and stuff like that, just to uh, do better beers, like understand more of the chemistry process of the beer. And I think that COVID helped me a lot because we were teleworking and we were work. We were doing a couple of stuff on the house, and just the telework helped me a lot on the studying side of the process. So
Right.
I mean, I just try to grab something positive from the whole COVID stuff. And I think for us, it was a little bit helpful on that way.
Right.
That yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you might as well take advantage of it. You're going to have that downtime a little bit of that downtime. So why not get more knowledge and improve the product right away? You know, I mean, that makes a
yeah.
lot of sense. So congratulations on that. That's super cool. All right. Well, this was fun. I know you have other stuff go. I know you have other stuff going on, but I did want to catch up with you. I did want to introduce you to people that may have not have heard of you guys and are looking forward to. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. And we'll
Yeah,
have you in the store when you guys are ready. We'll do something special. I'll bring your board and we'll have a good time. We'll figure something out.
I hope that we can brew some stuff soon and put it on the market.
Hey, I'm always down for collabs. You can ask Brendan about that.
Yeah.
he knows that. He knows that for sure. Well, my friend, thank you so much for joining me. Good luck, and I'll keep in touch. And if you need anything from me, just let me know. I don't know what I can do for you. I'm not that smart, but whatever I can do for you, I'll help you out. So there you go. So thank you, my friend,
thank you.
and you be safe and happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, and all that stuff. And I'll talk to you probably sooner than later. Cool.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I'm looking forward for the medalla taste that you're gonna
There
do.
it is, the medallia tasting. You know, the funny thing about that is, um, the woman who is the importer for that is super. Like she's super cool. I had her on my women in beer thing. She's from Puerto Rico, obviously, but she basically started She's a grocery. She goes to mercados. That's what she does. She sells
Yeah.
stuff from the Caribbean to like Hispanic supermarkets and stuff. So, and then she got a hold of Medallia, and we sell a lot of Medallia, a lot. So it's really popular. So, and it's good. I personally like it better than most of the Caribbean beers. So,
I mean,
put a plug out to my friend Elda.
to be a
So.
commercial live beer, I think it's good.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah.
great, right? I mean, do you probably don't know the answer to this, but are they involved at all on helping the craft people in Puerto Rico?
Uh, it's it's been complicated. It's been
Right.
complicated because now they have a small section of the brewery that they call Del Oeste, like from the west,
Okay.
and they are doing craft beers on that small part of the brewery. Actually, I don't know if you know a rapper from Puerto Rico that his name is Residente
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Calle 13.
Right.
So he have a lineup of beers with Del Oeste. And I can tell you that someone said it was going to taste good. Some people are going to say that it's going to taste bad. Some people that say that it tastes good, but it's not the style of beer that they offer in the
Right.
can. So there's some mixed reviews on the beers, but at first there wasn't helping at all the craft beer community, and that was
Right.
sad because they are in the island. So I mean, it's a commercial beer, but I don't know if you think maybe they think that they can compete with Coors Light and all that stuff
Yeah,
outside the
I
island.
think they have probably have their eyes set on something bigger. But like a lot of those, like in the States anyway, like basically Blue Moon was an offshoot of
Yeah,
Coors. And like and Coors has been Coors, Anheuser-Busch maybe not so much, and Miller not so much. But Coors, if you ask folks from Colorado, Coors is always a huge supporter of craft.
yeah,
Like they didn't view it as like competition. And you would hope that a place like Medallia, if they built an experimental brewery, they would try to make it like for the whole island. You know what I mean? Like bring people in and rise up like all the local guys. So, I mean, I
yeah.
think that's a time will tell thing more than anything.
I think if you ask in the island, they're gonna say that it wasn't helpful at first. I don't know now. I'm not in Puerto Rico anymore, so I don't know if
Right,
now that they have the craft beer section, maybe they are more helpful with the
right,
craft beer community. But before that, I can tell you that it wasn't so big helpful.
right. Well, we'll see. Only time will tell, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, very cool, my friend. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night. And like I said, happy Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, all that stuff. Have a good holiday. And I'll talk
Same.
to you soon. Thanks, man.
Yeah, same. Have a good night, man.
You too.
Bye.
All right, that was cool. Very, very interesting. I'm happy to have him on, and I'm excited to see what they do out there in Frederick when he finds a spot and try some of his beers. I'm excited. Maybe I'll hit him up and try some of that Christmas beer. I'll be excited to do that. Anyway, thanks everybody. And next week, Hannah Ferguson on Tuesday night from Dope Brands, and we'll be talking about the opportunity awaits the package with Duclaw, and there you go. Everybody have a good night. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. Boom.